So the guy at the bottom, his name is Ron Barron, as you can see. This man has been investing in Tesla since like 2013. And you know what? Let's hear what he has to say about Tesla, especially since everyone's always talking crap.
Of bringing out cheaper cars to go through these things. Where do you stand on what the company should be valued?
So I know Joe's not a big believer in electric cars because he likes his Porsche. But I think all the cars are going to be electric, and I think this hybrid is just a sort of a holding off action so that automobile companies don't have to lose money on the electric cars. But the electric cars, I think, is going to be all the cars 10, 15 years from now. And I think hybrids, I know you love hybrids, that's not going to last either. They're too expensive and they're not effective enough, and they're not going to be part of the mix either. It's going to be all electric.
Well, this man came out the bat spitting facts. He says that hybrids aren't going to be around anymore. And there's always people in my comments who are saying hybrids are the future. Hybrids are the future. But really, hybrids are just being sold because they can make a sale off them and make profits off them. Major legacy car companies are not making profits off straight electric vehicles. The only companies that are Tesla and BYD. Maybe others, but who are they? Basically, car companies are selling hybrids because people are buying them and they can make a sale off them. And they're not going to be around for long.
And so what I think is going to happen is that the reason the stock is down is not because of the quarter. The reason the stock is down...
Well, the stock's up because of the stuff that he said.
Well, the stock's down so much.
Well, it's down 35% year to date. It's down 1%, or it's up 1% over the course of the last year.
Yeah, it's not so exciting to be up 1% in a year when everything is, the market is so strong. I don't worry about short term, but I do look around all the time and see everyone getting rich, and I'm not poor, but I haven't made a lot of progress in the last 3 years. So therefore, I think it's like a rubber band. I'm going to catch up again. So what I think about the reason stock is down is because people were concerned that he was going to abandon the idea of having a low-cost car and go all into robo-taxis. That's the reason stock is down. And there was a report in Reuters said he's canceling this new factory that's going to make low-cost cars, $25,000 cars, competition from China. So there's only one company in China that's profitable, by the way. That's BYD, Warren's company, Buffett's company. And that's a company that makes $1 billion a quarter, and our company makes $4 billion a quarter. No one else makes money. Ford loses so much. Everyone loses money on this. It's much more complicated.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone is losing a crap ton of money on their electric vehicles right now, which is why major car companies keep telling everyone that hybrids are the future, because they know that they can trick their loyal customers into believing them. Because if you're a loyal customer of Toyota or Ford and you only buy those cars because you're a loyal customer and your car company says, hey, hybrids are the future, you're just going to believe them. You're not going to do the research. You're just going to believe them. And if anyone challenges that, people get upset. And I can get that. People get offended because if you really love something and someone says something negative about it, people naturally get angry. So I get it. But the truth is the truth. Hybrids are going away.
Make these cars. It's interesting. I was talking yesterday about motors. So motors in a car cost $5,000 a car. That's what the normal, these 100-year-old companies, cost them $5,000. We can make a motor for $1,000. Costs $5,000. So they get...
Yeah, but then you have to have a battery that's more expensive.
Oh, no, I'm talking about if you're making the internal combustion engine cars. I'm just talking about how stagnant businesses become and how used they are to operating the way they've always operated, that they don't look for new things to do, new ways to operating oriented toward making things cheaper. He can do things for $1,000 that other people cost $5,000. It's amazing.
That is exactly what you call innovation. You see, for many years, car companies have been sitting around and they haven't innovated. And they're just like, no, let's just keep things the same because, we don't want to upset our shareholders or blah, 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 or we don't want to mess things up. Things are working good right now. Why mess things up? And if that's the state of mind of your business and your company, someone is going to come along who has the balls and the courage to mix things up, and they're going to put you out of business. This is exactly what happens throughout the ages of time. This is exactly what happened with the horse and buggy. People were riding around on horses and buggies, and they were like, no, this is fine. Why switch it up? Until the car came along, and they were like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's silly. Why would we want to use a car? Horses are just fine, even though they're pooping all over the place. But look at where we are 100 years later. who's using a horse and buggy to get around besides Amish people? I mean, it's a very small number.
If you wanted to be an electric car, a gasoline car company, all I'm pointing out is that people get entrenched, and they do things without trying to make the things better and cheaper and faster all the time. There's no incentive to do that. So Munger says, show me the incentives and I'll show you how people act. And that's the idea, that people, the incentive, what's the incentive for someone who's 55, 60, we got to get off of this. But the idea is that's the reason stock's down. And now
So what's the reason it's going to go up, and when?
Oh, it's going to go up huge.
When?
And now. I mean, now is the bottom.
Okay.
You hear that, people? Ron Barron, this man he has inside information, all right? He's been investing in Tesla since like 2012. Like literally, he's invested billions of dollars. No, he's invested millions of dollars that became billions of dollars. And he says that the stock is going to go up huge. And now.
And so what they're doing is they're going into robo-taxis, and they're going to make the low-cost car. So they're making the low-cost car, except they're making it, they have excess capacity right now. They have capacity to make 3 million cars a year. They're making 1.8 million. So the 1.2 million cars they can make extra in an existing facility with no more capital, and they're not going to make the cars direct cost as cheaply as they did before, as they expected to. But overall, until they expect to do 5 million of these new cars.
Can I ask you a robo-taxi question? Because that is, I think, the future of this company,
yes.
And a lot of the value is relying on that. The question is what you think the genuine timing of a robo-taxi that's reliant on cameras only, and this has always been the question about can you do it with just cameras relative to what Waymo and Cruise have done, and there's been even questions about that, using the radar and the LiDAR and the whole rig that lives on those vehicles.
Well, we have a small investment in Cruise because I wanted to see what they're doing. And Waymo is their cars are $250,000
because of all of the sensors and all of
and they're trying to take cost out, and for us it's software. And so basically the advantage that we have right now at Tesla is that they've sold 6 million cars, and 3.5 or 4 million are collecting data. So the data is what's really valuable. They're doubling their amount of compute every 90 days.
I don't disagree with you. The question is a timing question of how quickly you can actually put these things into the wild.
I was just in California. Last Sunday, I was in Vail because I want to see what they're doing with AI in the mountain and capital spending. And then that was on Sunday. And then on Monday, I was in SpaceX in LA in the morning with some engineers and some finance people. And the afternoon, I went to Tesla, and I was with the autonomous driving people and also the compute people. And then afterwards, they said to me, Ron, would you like to see how we've made unbelievable advances? The first 11 versions had to be designed so that they had to code every single thing that happened.
Right, and now it's all AI.
It was impossible. And so therefore, they weren't making progress for 2 or 3 years. They were at a plateau. And now what's happened, they have version 12. They have all this enormous amounts of data, and now they have compute to figure out, humans can't do it. Now they have compute to figure everything out. And so now you're on the verge with autonomous driving in your car. So I said, okay, show me. So we do the few hours, couple, 3 hours, and then before I'm going to go back to New York, I said, okay, so I want to see how it works. So we go into the parking lot, and we get into the car, and I have an analyst with me, and then they had the compute person, and they had an investor person, and so we're sitting in the car, and so where do you want to go? I said, I want to see Steve Jobs' house. And say, okay, so they punch in the address, and we get into the car drives around by itself. Didn't do it. All we did is punch it in. Drive around the parking lot, goes to the road. There's traffic going both ways. It looks both ways, looking for an entry to get in. Gets an entry, pulls in, makes a left-hand turn, drives right behind cars in front.
Now, when he says it looks both ways, I mean, he does kind of mean that. I've been watching some videos of how these cars drive by themselves, the full self-driving version 12. I've watched them for the couple years, and yeah, they were clunky in the past, and a little shaky and iffy, and people might be nervous about it. But lately, these cars are doing a lot better. You can say they're getting very, very much close to human-like, and even a little bit better than humans. They see further than we can, and they also have 8 cameras, so they can see a lot more than we do. No matter what you say or what any hater says, it can see more angles than we can, behind it, next to it, in front of it, all the time. So it's more alert than humans will ever be because we don't have 8 cameras or eyeballs. And this technology is getting better and better. Trust me. I mean, you don't have to believe me. Go watch the videos yourself. Or if you know someone with a Tesla, jump in their car and see how it works.
Of us, there's a stop sign. First car stops, goes. Second car stops, goes. We pull up to the stop sign. Car looks both directions, makes a right-hand turn. Just drives. And then all of a sudden, there's a pedestrian crossing the street. The car stops to let the pedestrian cross the street. The pedestrian, I don't know if I was being set up on this, but the pedestrian waves, and then the car starts going again. Then it pulls up, then it makes a left-hand turn, and then goes in front of Steve Jobs' house. It's a nice house. It was just a house, though. I was expecting a house, but it was a house. And so stopped in front of Steve Jobs' house. Then he has that house, and he doesn't, his wife does, the house next door. Then they had looks like 3/4 of an acre for sale next door for $15 million. They don't go back.
That's a little creepy,
it drove
Ron.
all by itself. Yeah, all drove
Take me to stalk somebody's house.
It drove all by itself. So what's going to happen is that I thought the idea had been that you're going to sell a lot of cars. So as a result of that, once they have those cars out there, you'll sell autonomous driving. And he said the other day that he's negotiating to sell autonomous driving for some other cars too. No one has the compute, no one has the data.
That's the long-term thing. If Tesla's everywhere, just like
if they're
the
making
Tesla
cars,
charging.
if they're making cars, they make $7,000 in profit a car for a car they're selling for $35,000 minus the $7,500 credit.
But what's your timing? But just give me the timing. That's the whole game.
Now.
That's exactly the problem. You see, normally analysts, they want to know what's happening now. They're not thinking long term. The majority of analysts are like, what's the stock price going to be this week, next week, this week, blah, 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 because they're swing traders and they're traders and they're just trying to make money daily off swinging or trades and all that stuff. Like, that's a short term way of thinking about the stock market, because in 10 years, 15 years, if you're still holding Tesla stock, you're going to be grateful that you did. Instead of worrying about what it's going to be next 2 weeks or the next month, that's a very short-term view. And that's how a lot of people get screwed over in the stock market, because they think that they can just call when the stock is going to go down or up. But if you just hold for 10 years, and it's been proven time after time, anyone who just stays in the market for 10 years and consistently buys and holds and doesn't sell, they're always up. Well, anyhow, this is basically coming from Ron Barron's mouth. He knows that Tesla is going to go through the roof. He's been buying it forever. He's made billions of dollars on Tesla stock, and he continues to believe the story. Yet there's other people who always keep trying to shine negativeness towards Tesla, saying, oh, this is the end for Tesla. Other car companies are coming. The competition is coming. But where's the competition? Nowhere. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. My name is Nashawn Blair. I'm always talking about the automotive industry, big tech, and what's going on with Tesla and all sorts of things. I'll catch you guys next time.